Okay, so our lecture today is going to be covering chapters 9 and 10 in They Say, I Say, which is about finding your voice, using your voice, what academic language and academic voice is, and what other things you can mix in with them. So that's chapter 9, and then chapter 10, which is all about metacommentary. So let's start with chapter 9, academic language. So part of the idea behind this chapter is that you can write an academic essay and it doesn't have to be boring and stuffy. So you want to mix things up. Of course, you want to use some higher level college type words, but you can mix in more fun conversational ones as well. Again, a lot of students have this misconception that an academic essay has to sound boring. And that's just not true, and we'll look at some examples. You can use slang as well, as long as it's used appropriately. It can make your essay more vibrant, more current and political and interesting, and we'll look at an example. So this is from They Say, I Say, and this is actually from a book called Talking and Testifying, the Language of Black America. So here is our paragraph. The oral tradition that preserves the Afro-American heritage also reflects the collective spirit of the race. So again, this sounds very academic, very intellectual, and you might not like this sentence. You might think this sentence is boring. But watch what she does next. Blacks are quick to ridicule educated fools, people who done gone to school and read all them books and still don't know nothing. So why is she doing this? What is this sentence about? Well, this sentence, if we go back and look at the name of her book, this sentence is using some of the dialect of the people that she's talking about. So she's talking about Black Americans, and probably specifically people in certain communities within Black America who have certain ways of talking. And so she's using that language to show or to make the point that she's trying to make here. Then our next sentence. It is also socially approved verbal strategy, again this sounds fancy, for Black rappers to talk about how bad they is. So again, we know that this writer is intelligent, that she's not using these words because she doesn't know how to use grammar properly. She's using it because it's the language that she's talking about. And so she wants to showcase this this language because it's the whole point of what she's writing about. And you can do this. You don't want to do this in a way where we're not sure whether you're doing it on purpose or whether that's how you are really writing because you don't know the difference. But when you use it on purpose, and we can tell it's on purpose and it's for a point, that's when slang works really well. So I'm going to show you another example. This is from the magazine Esquire, which if you don't know is an extremely popular magazine that is very esteemed. People, view this as one of the best written magazines in America. And this is by a writer called Charles Pierce, who is one of their famous writers, who's a very well-respected writer. And this essay is called The Reign of Morons is Here. So let's see what he does. In the year of our Lord, 2010, the voters of the United States elected the worst Congress in the history of the Republic. We have elected snake handlers, Bible bangers, charlatans, and crooks, a collection so ungovernable that it insists the nation be ungovernable too. This is what they came to Washington to do, to break the government of the United States. It doesn't matter anymore whether they're doing it out of pure crackpot ideology or for the various sugar daddies that back their campaigns. We've handed ourselves over to the reign of morons. The true hell of it, though, is that you could see this coming from a mile away. So, I've put in bold here the interesting phrases, the kind of slang and more colorful language that Charles Pierce is using here to show you what you can do. He could have stated this in a very boring kind of way, but he wants to make it more interesting. So he's saying, in the year of our Lord, which if you don't know this, our current year system is called AD, which stands for Anno Domino, which means in the year of our Lord. He's just using this because it sounds more fun than just saying in 2010. And then he's calling these people in Congress snake handlers. So this comes from a group of kind of underground type religious zealots who think that they can handle snakes, and if they get bit, it'll be okay. Poisonous snakes, if they get bit, it'll be okay. If they have faith that the poison can't hurt them. This is a real thing. If you haven't heard of it, you can look it up. Bible bangers, that's kind of making fun of extremist religious people. Charlatans basically means people who are liars. Crooks, obviously we know what that means. He's saying these kind of cool slang type words rather than, using stuffier kinds of language that he could have used. Down here, crackpot ideology. So crackpot is a fun word. Sugar daddies. So he's talking about the special interest groups that pay for the campaigns that these politicians have, but instead of just saying special interest groups, he's saying sugar daddies because we like that term. We're familiar with that term. It's fun. It's more fun to say. Morons. This. You might think you can't say something like that in an academic essay. You can. And then these fun, colorful phrases. The true hell of it. You could see this coming from a mile away. So again, don't feel like your essays have to be boring and have to be written in this very stuffy professor-type language. You can make it more fun. And believe me, I want it to be interesting. I want you to enjoy writing it. I want to enjoy reading it. I don't want to read something that sounds like a machine that has no emotions and no creativity, just banged out this essay. So I'm going to show you an example. I want you to think about this, and then I'll show you what I came up with. But this is to show you how, if you've written your essay and you read back over it and you realize that it doesn't sound very good, that it sounds kind of boring, how you can then take that and spice it up a little. So here are our two sentences. Homelessness is becoming a persistent problem in urban environments across the nation. This social problem always multiplies rapidly in periods of economic downturn that follow cycles of prosperity. So there's nothing wrong with these sentences, but they are a little boring. They could be better. So I want you to think for a second about how you could spice it up, and then I'll show you what I came up with to kind of help you understand what I mean here. So things that you can think about changing are things like persistent problem. Is there a more interesting way to say that? Urban environments is an easy one to change. What does that actually mean, and what are other ways to say that are more interesting and fun? Multiplies rapidly, periods of economic downturn, cycles of prosperity. These are all phrases that we could find a more fun way to say them. So let me show you what I came up with. When it comes to homelessness, the shit is hitting the fan, especially in the ghettos across America. The economic boom of the 1990s is over, and homelessness is spiraling out of control as the economy goes down the toilet. So rather than saying it's a persistent problem, we can say the shit is hitting the fan. And so this brings up an interesting debate. Can you cuss in essays? I say yes. Some of your other teachers might say no, and this is where subjectiveness comes in, but I say absolutely when it's appropriate. So some students interpret this the wrong way and think, oh, hey, I can cuss. I'll just throw some cuss words in. Don't just throw cuss words in. Um, that that is going to make it sound, it's going to sound bad if you're just throwing some cuss words in. But using phrases, using them for particular emphasis, and using phrases like this that we're familiar with, and if you don't know this, the shit is hitting the fan. If you think about that literally, what it means is if you throw crap at a fan, what's it going to do? It's going to go everywhere. So, this is a phrase that that is more fun and that a lot of people are familiar with and sounds better than saying this is a big problem. Ghettos. So rather than saying urban environments, ghettos is a more fun, more colorful type word. Rather than saying cycles of prosperity, we can say economic boom. Rather than saying social problem that multiplies rapidly, we're saying homelessness spirals out of control. And then rather than saying periods of economic downturn, we're saying the economy goes down the toilet. Now, you don't have to go through your essay and agonize over changing things. Don't do that. But what I mean is all of you have a personality, and allowing that to come through, talking a little bit more along the lines of like you would to your friends in a conversational kind of way, a more fun kind of way in your essay is going to be better than, again, I compare it to talking like a robot. Don't talk like a robot in your essays. Try and have it be a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting. And so here's your first writing assignment in relation to that. So I've got this template here. Blank is a problem because blank. And so what I want you to do is fill in this template with the topic. Now the best idea is to use your topic for your essay, because that way whatever you come up with might be something you can actually use in your essay. But if you really struggle with writing this about your own topic, then I'll let you pick something else if you really need to. But I want you to come up with a topic, follow this in this second part, because with a 2 to 3 sentence description where you mix in some fun laid back words and appropriate slang, and I'll show you the example that I made. The death penalty, so that's my topic, the death penalty is a problem because, hey, let's face it, doesn't everyone secretly want murderers to get what's coming to them? Who doesn't want to see James Holmes strapped down an old Sparky and fried until he's extra crispy? So James Holmes, just in case you don't remember or are not familiar with his name, is the guy who shot up the Colorado Theater in Aurora, went in, killed a bunch of people while they were watching the Batman movie. So this is taking that topic, it's saying it's a problem, and then it's using this kind of conversational tone. Hey, let's face it. That's the way you might talk with your friends. And then saying down here, strap down an old Sparky. So what does that mean? That means the electric chair, which is still used in, I think, maybe it's only 2 states. I think Florida and Texas still use the electric chair. Many other states used to use it and don't anymore. Every state thought they were original by calling their electric chair Old Sparky. So that's what that means. And then fried until he's extra crispy. Well, the insinuation there is kind of comparing him to something that you would fry in a vat, like fried chicken. So this is a more fun kind of way of talking about this issue of why a lot of people like the death penalty, because they want to see murderers die. But it's more fun than just saying it in that way. So again, I want you to come up with your topic and put it in this first blank, and then try and do something kind of fun where you're being conversational, where you're mixing in fun words or phrases or slang or something like that, and just try and do that in a couple of sentences. So go ahead and pause it, and you can complete this activity, and then we'll move on. Okay, so let's talk about metacommentary now. Just to explain what that means, commentary means to comment on something, meta means to go beyond the normal limits. So this word metacommentary means comments that go beyond the normal limits. And the idea behind metacommentary in an essay is that no matter how clear you think you're being, it never hurts to spell it out for your reader. So some examples of metacommentary that They Say I Say gives you are things like, my claim is blank. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying blank. So an example of this might be, my claim is that medical marijuana should be legal. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that recreational marijuana should be legal. And so what that does is makes absolutely sure that your readers are not misinterpreting what you're trying to say. Another example is, the point I'm making is blank. What I'm trying to get across here is blank. So you might say something like, the point I'm making is we need smoking bans in all public places across America. What I'm trying to get across here is smoking is an unhealthy habit and we want to discourage smokers from doing it, and this is one way to ensure that, while also safeguarding the health of non-smokers. So metacommentary is meant to kind of add on to what you're already saying and just make sure that your readers are really understanding your points. So why use metacommentary? Well, number one, it expands on your argument, which like I've just shown, helps make sure your readers understand what you're talking about. It serves as guideposts. So what that means is it often helps you move from one point to the next within the paragraphs of your essay. And then finally, it helps you reach your page length. So if you're struggling to reach your 5 pages, metacommentary can add length to your writing so that you can reach that page length. So now your second writing activity has to do with metacommentary. For this one, I do want you to use your topic for your essay. And the reason for that is that I want you to come up with things that you can actually put into your final essay. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer all 3 of these, and you can either type this out or handwrite it. And if you're handwriting it, or even if you're typing it, you don't have to rewrite questions or templates 1, 2, and 3. All I'm looking for is the answer here. But in 1 to 2 sentences, I want you to fill in these templates. So number 1, you're going to preview what you'll be discussing. So this is something that you could put in your introduction to your essay. It is my intention in this essay to blank. So think about it. How could you answer that question? Number 2, spell out how you will make your proposal. I will attempt to prove my proposal that blank is the best option in existence because blank. And then finally, number 3, distinguish your proposal from other proposals. To avoid the possibility that my proposal will be confused with other similar ones out there, let me explain how it is different. So you're going to fill in all of these templates, and again, anything that you come up with for this exercise, you can use it word for word in your final paper. So that's part of why I'm giving you this exercise. And if you're still having issues with it, go back, review chapter 10 of They Say I Say, and hopefully that will help you understand it a little bit better. Alright, so once you've completed this activity, you are done with our discussion about chapters 9 and 10 of They Say I Say. So be ready to turn in these 2 writing activities the next time I see you. Email me if you have any questions, and I will see you in class.